Good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. Could be a bit chaotic. I'm trying to put this video between things that are happening around the house, but Steve's out putting birds food and water into the bird business, and the cat's in and out like a yo-yo. So, and the lighting's terrible. There wasn't anything I could do to fix it. It's very bright, very dark. So sorry about that, gang. Anyhow, I'm here to talk about two different books. They're both young adult books, and one could, because it's a graphic novel, could be geared more towards adults. So I'll talk about that one first because it's kind of a spoof on the Nancy Drews, which I would have read as a young kid. But I don't know how many people are reading them these days. I think they maybe are just, I just think they're not that interesting anymore. They've dated themselves in terms of the language and the plot lines and so forth. So I don't think that many young people have read them. So it's a bit of a joke that adults would probably mostly girls, I would suspect. So I think it's a pretty niche comic book. Anyways, this is the second in the series of the Hobtown Mystery Stories. And it's called, let me get that sticky note off, The Cursed Hermit. And it is written by Kris, Bertin, and Alexander Forbes, and they are also the illustrators. And it has some very dark as in lots of black ink, lots of hatching kind of illustrations, and fairly complex, if I can get that up close for you guys. Complex drawing, not a ton of text, which is good. There's quite a lot to look at in the drawings, so if there was too much text, it would just be kind of overwhelming. I think that it has a certain graphicness to it. It's a graphic novel, that's a stupid statement. What am I trying to say? It's more graphic than it is narrative, let's say, so that's kind of nice. If you're going to read a graphic novel and there's lots of text, then is it really a graphic novel? I guess that's a question for those who do that kind of work. But I find that if the pictures are really detailed, I don't want a lot of text. I don't want to have to be balancing between the two. So this is about the Hobtown Junior Detective Club that is organized by Dana Nance, which is just a pun on Nancy Drew, and her buddies. And this is taking place in contemporary times. There's computers and cell phones and ATVs. And the first version, the first volume, had Dana Nance and her buddies solving a mystery about missing men, and one of the people in the gang, his father, has gone missing. And so this is the second one where the gang has been split up over Christmas vacation, and two of the gang, Brennan and Pauline, I had it on the sticky note, have been chosen to go to a special Christmas season special school. Up in Hobtown, there is this mansion at the top of the hill that was built by the Hobbs, and founding family, and a wackadoodle-daddle, that's them. So they have this school where they're trying to inculcate the next generation of Hobbs family minions, if you like. So there's all kinds of cultish things happening up there. And it's just bizarre. There's a mystery of a missing girl who went in the 1930s, disappeared, and there's a ghost, and there's really weird creatures. But we get this kind of semi-magical, supernatural stuff from the first volume. This is just a continuation. So Pauline and Brennan have been chosen to go up there, and presumably they will mate for life. That's the goal of the instructors. And there is a hermit who is Pierre, and we get to meet him a little more directly in this volume, and a ghost called Getty. And so, of course, it's just, there's a lot of weirdness, there's a lot of silly things happening. Okay, I thought it was silly. Nancy Drew was kind of silly in her day with the red Corvette. This is a little bit silly too, and I don't know. My son's giving me these. I hope he's not watching because I expect I'll get volume 3. I think it's funny if you really enjoyed Nancy Drew, which I did, but I don't love this series. And I think it has a lot to do with the illustrations. There's something about graphic novels today where they're just drawn with so much heavy black ink that I don't feel that they're very nuanced. They have to be very heavy-handed in order to show the difference between characters and the atmosphere, and they're trying to convey an awful lot of information with their pens. And I guess there are other comics and graphic novels out there that I think are a bit more subtle, a little less coarse. I don't know. Anyways, didn't love it. And but if you're a Nancy Drew friend or you're looking for something for your mother, and she read Nancy Drew, get her this because she'll be too polite to tell you the truth. All right, the second book I read, just finished last night, is I Hope You're Listening by Tom Ryan. And this is an author who has won the Arthur Ellis Award for Mysteries. A few months ago, I was watching Leanne at Literary Diversion. She made a comment that really stuck with me, is that if you have a missing or a murdered person, make her care about that person so that the whole mystery revolving around solving the problem isn't about someone who you couldn't care less about. And in this story, we have got a young girl, Sybil, who disappeared when she was, I guess, about 8 years old, and she was playing in the woods with her friend. Oh my gosh, just went straight out of my head because I didn't write a sticky note. Oh, Delia, they call her Dee for short. And they were playing in the woods, and Sibby was kidnapped, and Dee was left behind deliberately. So it's years later on, 10 years, and another young girl has gone missing from the same neighborhood, different circumstances, and just neither child is really discussed in any kind of a serious way. We get to know Sybil's personality as a 7-year-old for about 3 pages, and we don't really get to see either of the parental groups and their stresses around the missing children. We only get to know Delia's situation. It's very myopic. It's all about her at the time of that kidnapping. She doesn't understand that there's other people who have feelings about this or experiences about this. So I think that's why I didn't love this book. That's why I would give it a 3 out of 5, because I just don't get to see or meet or care about the surrounding characters. It's a very interesting plot, and the devices that are being used to investigate the 2 missing children are pretty interesting. She's used the internet and social media to an interesting kind of way, which is, it's positive. It's a positive internet experience, which is a nice change. But again, because I don't really particularly care about any of the 3 main characters, the 2 children and Delia, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm just ready for this book to be finished. I think I picked up Tom Ryan because I'm pretty sure that he is, yes, the next book club choice, Keep This to Yourself. So I just thought, oh, okay, well, he must be a good, solid author. And I think in a way he is, but it's just, yeah, I guess there's a couple of things happening in the world of mysteries right now where I'm tired, other people are tired, and the missing child thing just really bugs me. It just seems too, I don't know, too easy. I think it might have been more interesting if the girls hadn't been, if Sybil hadn't been successfully kidnapped, if there had been a kidnapping attempt, and, you know, then we're looking at a different kind of character, and we get to, you know, her anxiety afterwards. That would be sort of interesting. What's it like to be an almost kidnapped person? What does that do to your psyche? So yeah, just totally didn't love it, but it did keep the tension level going. I was tense reading through the whole thing. So I guess as a writer of sentences and as a creator of tension. Tom Ryan is pretty good. He's got a good plot line going there, and he just needs to, for me, work on his character development in a way that engages me more fully. So that's it for this week, because I'm trying to keep these videos short. I'm still not feeling very well. I have 2 books that I'm hoping to do next week that are younger readers, pretty cool books. So I hope to see you next week. I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true. Bye-bye.